Hi, my name is Kevin Stevens. I'm on the faculty here at Musicians Institute in Hollywood, California. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about reading music and a system that I've developed that seems to help a lot of students when things are not quite clicking and creates a little bit of an aha moment that I've had happen numerous times. So this is for someone that has a basic understanding of music, that understands time signature. They know what quarter notes and eighth notes. I'm not going to go into detail about starting from total scratch, but they have a basic understanding of music. And so what happens a lot of times is that students kind of understand what's going on, but they don't really know how to read music. And what I mean by that is they know what quarter notes are, and they know a quarter note rest, and they understand eighth notes. And on a pattern like this, they could do all right. If you asked them to read this, they would probably get it because they understand that on each beat, as they go through, they understand that. They understand 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, rest, 3, 4, and, right? They understand that. But where things fall apart is that they don't really know why it is that. They just know that that's what it is, but they don't know why it works that way. So having a basic, vague understanding of how notes and rests work might work for that last example. But where it falls apart is when we have something like this. When we have an eighth note on beat 1 and we have quarter notes on the ands, all of a sudden students usually fall apart because they don't really understand how to read this. And what I tell them is there's two things that any note or rest are going to tell us. And I'm talking about at the basic level of reading rhythms. There's only two things you have to be concerned with. The first thing, do we make a sound or do we not make a sound? Making a sound would be any note value. Don't make a sound is any rest, right? That's the first step. The second thing that a note or a rest tells us is what's the value, or where do we look for the next piece of information. Okay, so when I'm talking about the value, I'm talking about the note length. Okay, so in that example, I would talk through with a student. All we're doing is getting two pieces of information from each of these things, and we always start on beat 1. Okay, so we start on beat 1. What is that? It's an eighth note. Do we make a sound or not? Yes, we make a sound. Okay, an eighth note is worth half a beat, so that tells us where to go next. This note here tells us what that note is on. Okay, so an eighth note on 1 takes us to the and of 1, right? Do we make a sound? Yes, we make a sound. That's worth a quarter note. Where do we go from the and of 1? We go a quarter note over to the and of 2. Do we make a sound? Yes, that's an eighth note. That's worth half a beat. So we're on the and of 2. That moves us over to what? Beat 3. Do we make a sound? No, that's a rest. It's an eighth note rest. It's worth half a beat on beat 3. That pushes us over half a beat to the and of 3. We make a sound. That's worth half a beat. Pushes us over half a beat to beat 4. Make a sound. Now, this is worth a quarter note, which pushes us all the way over to beat 1. And if it takes us back to beat 1 evenly at the end, then we know then we've been on the right track. So if they can understand that's all reading is, reading rhythms, that it's telling us two pieces of information, it really simplifies it. And it also is actually telling them how to connect these things together, which I think is the thing that so many times is overlooked. Thanks a lot.